Peeps, this is my new location for a while for my movie reviews, you know what I'm saying? I know we not in the theater still, I'm just at home, and I watched the movie, and I gotta give y'all my review, man, okay? So what up, peeps? I'm Tony Baker here, and I am back with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing Michael. You know what I'm saying? Need I say anymore? First of all, am I the only one that struggles with spelling Michael correctly off the top? I always get that E and that A mixed up, man. Every time. It never, excuse me, Daps. It never fails. This time I didn't have to because the name was already printed in, you know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson, the biggest pop star to ever do it, right? Argue with you. This is his story. Directed by Antoine Fuqua, and Michael is played by his nephew, Jafar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it in the family. We got Coleman Domingo as Joseph Jackson. We got Nia Long as Catherine Jackson. I'm gonna just be real and say, there's not too much under the sun we don't know about Michael Jackson. This is how famous and how popular he is. I feel like the majority of us, we know the story. We know how they came up. We saw the Jacksons, The American Dream, the TV series, TV miniseries, and we got a lot of info from that. And like, you know, it's very rare to find something new about Michael Jackson. And one of the big criticisms about the movie is that this movie only takes place from, like, you know, when they started off in their childhood all the way up into bad. So anything that happened after that is not included in the film. So if you want in on those allegations and all of that, it's not going to happen here. And so that's a big criticism that a lot of people have about the movie. So going into the movie, I knew, okay, they're only going to go from here to here. So from, you know, their beginnings to about 1988. So I didn't expect anything more. I didn't expect the Dangerous album. I didn't expect the allegations. You know, I'm just going in for the good music, the good nostalgia, hopefully some compelling drama in the in-between. Hopefully I can get a little nugget or two of new information that I may not have known about. I don't know what's embellished for the movie. I don't know. Bubbles makes an appearance. And you know that Joseph Jackson loomed large over the Jackson family. Some say he pushed his kids into greatness. Janet is not nowhere to be found in this movie. I feel like Rebe Jackson wasn't around either. I'm not even sure if Randy was in there. But Janet was nowhere to be found for sure. They didn't even have her. They didn't even have anybody cast as her whatsoever. So Janet was like, I'm out. But the shadow of Joseph Jackson looms large. He had a heavy hand, you know, old school disciplinarian. And you can't even blame it on old school, because not every old school parent was abusive to the kids. And like, he beat these kids into greatness. And you could, people are arguing like, I mean, you beat them into greatness, but you don't do that to your children, man. You don't do that, man. It's just too much, and it affects them long term, and it affected Michael long term. And that's pretty much at the core of this story about Michael, is that he wanted to break away from his father, not necessarily the family. He loved his family, but, you know, Joseph Jackson was suffocating. And he wanted to go his own way. He wanted to do his own thing, be his own man. That's essentially what this storyline is about in this movie. The music is great. The choreography is great. Jafar Jackson, playing his uncle, did an amazing job. He was great. I really felt like, I'm looking at Michael Jackson right now. You know, I really felt it. Pulling off the dance moves, the choreography, he looked fantastic. You know what I mean? They show you the Thriller choreography, the Beat It choreography, you know, the Motown 25 celebration. All these iconic beats that represented Michael's rise to like global superstardom and pandemonium and mayhem, and just created like the mega pop star. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just everything struck all at once. You know, MTV, commercials, endorsements, everything just came in all at once. And, you know, Michael Jackson was pretty much the blueprint for all of it. He just crossed all types of lines. He got the blacks, he got the whites, he got the Asians, he got the in-betweens, the world. And so you kind of felt that. The movie felt uneven in terms of tone and pacing. Sometimes they rushed it, sometimes they they would just sit in it a little bit, and sometimes they would rush it again. I was most impressed by Jafar Jackson, of course. His portrayal as Michael, he internalized a lot. And for this to be his debut is even more impressive. You really felt for Michael, like, it wasn't super dramatic or super showy. He internalized a lot of the emotions that he was going through and the frustrations and, the uncertainties and also the confidence that it took to break away from his father and to make these, bold moves of like, yo, I want more. I want to be the biggest star in the world. I want to be global. I want to do this. I want to do it on my own terms in a major, major way. And so you felt all of these different emotions, and you felt the fear that he had for his father, Joseph, and him dealing with that and wanting to stand up to his father and want to make his own move and stake his own claim. So that was the biggest hurdle for him within this timeline of the story. Now, there's rumored they're going to do like a sequel to it, depending on how this one does. I'm not sure because Rotten Tomatoes wasn't too friendly with it. I would like to see more. Not necessarily, you don't have to get into the nuts and bolts of the grit and the grind because we all know about it. But I just want to see more. And the music made me emotional because I was born in '77. Like I was there in real time when Michael blew up on Thriller and Bad and everything that was. So I felt it. I'm connected to the music. I got a lot of memories to the music and the style. And I had a Michael Jackson birthday cake. I had the poster. I wanted the penny loafers. I wanted the jacket, but I couldn't afford it. I wanted the glove. Michael Jackson was everything. And so, of course, this resonated with me personally because I grew up in that and I grew up on him and his music. So I felt that. I was impressed with Nia Long's performance as Catherine. It was very much slow, low. She never took it to elevated levels. And to me, like from what I've seen in interviews with Catherine Jackson, that's what she feels like to me. Like very calm, very, you know what I'm saying? Just like, but very loving to the children and doing the best she can within that dynamic. And I feel like Nia Long really hit those beats well when she had to, conflict with Joe, worry about the boys, and you know what I'm saying? All of these things, they resonated with her. And also you got to see how she felt internally when she felt like, I'm sorry I didn't go to bat for you even more so. I'm sorry I didn't protect you better. And like those moments and those beats were really like, they just felt really real. But my main issue with the movie is it's a little too glossy. It's a little too glossy. You know what I'm saying? It's by the numbers. It's a tribute. It didn't really get into the nitty gritty of it all. And I'm not even talking about the allegations. I'm just talking about the come up and the rise and the how do you get to that level. I feel like with the Victory Tour, they could have talked about the ticket scandal and how they handled that for the tour and the tickets and stuff like that. And maybe hint at some of the riffs that Michael and Quincy may have had, like that Quincy era of Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. And after that, he wanted to go his own way again. Did Quincy start to feel like Joseph in a sense where Michael wanted to break away and do his own thing with Dangerous and Beyond? So I feel like they could have planted those seeds and sat in that a little bit more. What I did learn is that I didn't know Michael stayed with the family as long as he did. Like I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't look this up after I watched the movie, but I didn't know they were all under one roof that long. And so I figured he was on his own immediately, but they made it look like he stayed in the Jackson home for a long time, even beyond, like even Thriller was already released. So I was just like, oh, really? I'm not sure when he bought the Neverland Ranch, but I thought that was interesting though. His love of animals, like they kind of sat in that a little bit. We know he had Bubbles and we know he had like giraffes and like these exotic animals, but his interest in animals, I feel like they touched on real nicely, so that opened that up. I feel like something was missing. Even though I love the music, I love the choreography, I feel like something was really missing though in terms of storytelling and pacing and what we get from a biopic. So, I'm coming in. I enjoyed it. But forget all that. Y'all want to know my smooth jazz review of Michael? Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm giving Michael 3.5 saxophones out of 5. Yeah, man. I wanted more, man. I wanted more. But it's tough because we know everything there is to know about Michael Jackson. And then you got to ask yourself, did we really need the movie? If we got Jackson's The American Dream. Because I feel like if you're not going to take it there, if you're not going to give us a different angle, if you're not going to go into the future and talk about those allegations and that music and how he made Dangerous and History and all of that in the world tours, if you're not going to touch on that, what are we doing here? Because we already got the Jacksons, The American Dream. Even though the Jacksons was more about the Jackson family, I don't know. Why make the movie if you're not going to take it there? Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. All right, peeps, that's my review of Michael. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. Also, you know what? Give me your top 5 Michael Jackson songs solo without his brothers. Top 5 Michael Jackson songs. I guarantee you, a lot of you won't have Scream on there, but that's neither here nor there. Hey, man, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, man. And as usual, we out here.